Okay. What is up, everyone? Today we are here with Casey Crafton from Season 3 winner of Sequester 3.0.
How's it going?
Doing good, doing good. How about yourself? You won the show.
Great. Thanks for having me here. It was a hell of a ride.
Yeah, oh my god. You were my draft pick. I'm like, yes! It's a win-win!
What pick did I go? That's the real question.
I think you were like 5th or 6th.
Okay, I'll take it.
I was like, okay, this guy seems like he's pretty low on the radar. I think he'll make it really far. And then Kim was like, no, it's going to be Drew. And I'm like, it's going to be Casey. I'm like so happy about that. All right. I picked a good person. So before we go into the whole entire game aspect of it, tell us how you got involved with the show. How did you go into the casting process? Did you have to do semifinals?
Yeah, so I am a huge RHAP listener. I'm in sales, so I spend most of my day just traveling around in my car, hanging out. So I'm a huge Big Brother Survivor fan. You know, it's going through 7 podcasts a day, just listening to strategy, listening to all that good stuff. So they were talking about it on, I think, the Happy Hour. Went ahead and got into it. I've never done anything like this in my life. I do not put myself out there. I'm a pretty outgoing person, but I keep everything in. So I just kind of gave it a shot. I took all the tests they give you, filled out my bio. My scariest question is when they were like, tell us something you would never tell anybody. And I was like, oh, that's my thing. So, yeah, I just basically was really truthful with them. I said I was, you know, when I was younger, I was a very self-conscious kid. I had a lot of depression, all that stuff. And I just basically didn't lie to them. And I had, once that, about literally a couple hours a day later, maybe, I got a email that said, hey, we'd like to talk to you. I went into a room with about 5 or 4 people. Couldn't see
semifinals, yeah.
Yeah, semifinals. I talked to them and basically told my story, told them my strategy. The crazy thing is the exact strategy I told them was the exact strategy that ended up playing out in the game.
How far did you make in the semifinal? Did you win that one?
No, so we didn't have the same semifinal as you. So
okay.
I had a one-on-one interview. When I say me with 4 people, it was 4 people on one side of the screen all interviewing me.
Oh, okay. Oh, damn.
One at a time, them asking me questions about my strategy, giving me scenarios. That lasted about 45 minutes to an hour. Wow. After that, basically a day or 2 later, they said, hey, make a video, send us some videos. And I'm pretty shy in front of the camera. So that was harder than I expected. If you can't tell by my boring videos that I submitted that were on the website. Luckily, I was chosen, and the rest is history.
All right, so you find out you're getting on the show. You're ecstatic about it, like, yeah, I'm on Sequester. When you watch the intro, is there anybody that you saw you're like, wow, I need to align with them. I want to target them. I'm not going to have good vibes. I will have good vibes. Anyone like that in particular?
Yeah, I wanted to get in with the crew that I thought would be outgoing and just fun. Just because I figured they can get in people's ears. So right off the bat, I saw Laura and Drew. They happen to both be sales reps as well. I sell a service that people already have, and it's just inconvenient to switch. So my job is a little tough. And then I saw they were both in sales, so I thought we'd get along really well as far as that goes. And there's a few other people. I mean, like I saw Callie, and I was like, that girl's so smart.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. That video is incredible.
Yeah, that was the best one. That's what we said. Like her video top the cake. So you get on this. You start your first cycle. You're very excited to meet everybody. You find out you have this bounty twist. First off, who was your bounty?
My bounty was Evie, and I didn't tell her until I think cycle like 5, when everybody was saying everything, and I was just, you know, I want to keep this wraps. I know she has a social media following. Mm-hmm. I didn't go after her, but at the same time, anything, if I would put that out there, you never know what could happen.
Yeah, you always have to be careful in Sequester.
But on the flip side, I mean, Laura came right into my room. I didn't speak with her the whole first cycle. We spoke for about 5 minutes. She says, "Look, you're my bounty," and that actually built a lot of trust in between us. So I respected her for doing that, and she's one of my good friends now. So it was fun.
It's good. It's good. All right, so you find out that you have the bounty twist, and the big topic of discussion is Callie and Andrew. First off, who did you vote for between those two the first time?
I voted for Callie, so it basically just ended up being 4 of us in a room, and we didn't really know who to vote for. It was one of those things where there's only 12 people, so 3 rooms are always full, and you don't want to be that one person that tries to get into a room and then it's stuck out of your room because then your name's going to get brought up if someone's flipping rooms and that sort of thing. And I think Andrew might have pointed out, like, hey, her IQ is pretty high. And the first thing that came to my head was, did you guys see that video? That's why it was crazy. I didn't have any idea that she was not a reality TV watcher, but that's kind of how that went. And then I figured there's no use getting Andrew out week 1 when, you know, he'll always be on the target list.
Yeah, it seemed like the people that were getting targeted the first night were people with the highest IQs. And I think Drew was the one who mentioned last year with Tiffany. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting that they're switching it up this season. But yeah, so you vote Callie out the first time, and the second time after she pleaded herself, you voted her out again?
Yeah, I did not switch. Andrew made a good case. So she was just happy to be here, and he was, you know, pointed out some good points about her having a high IQ. So I was definitely not switching tonight. Somebody's going to switch in the first night, but I'm not going to be that guy.
Yeah. So Callie gets eliminated in cycle 1, and then you're on to cycle 2. Did you have any plans coming into this cycle? Did you have anyone to target?
Yeah, so people out there watching that are going to be on the show, obviously you don't sleep, but my main thing, what I did is I had a list of every single person. I said this on the post show as well, and I wrote exactly what I was going to say to everybody at the start of each cycle. So it didn't matter who I was going to get put in a room with. I'd always know exactly what to say. And my strategy was, listen, I'm going to tell them exactly who I voted for, exactly why I voted for them. Hopefully that earns their trust. Obviously, if I'm lying, someone's going to tell them that outside of the game. Annette and I were apparently butting heads after the first week, or after the first cycle. So I started with her, and I was like, oh, shit, this is going to be rough. But we hit it off. We ended up getting into alliance together. On the first night, Drew and I met, and obviously we made a good connection. It helped us through most of the game. And we basically just said, hey, let's each pull somebody in. And luckily I started with Annette, and she was good to get in the alliance with us to help us move through the game. So at that point, which is weird because I didn't vote with my alliance the second cycle.
Yeah.
So I heard that Lana's name was being thrown out, and Lana and I started the first cycle together. So we built that relationship up. And the alliance was new, but it wasn't solidified really yet. So I figured if I went against my alliance at the beginning, I could probably talk my way out of it if I just explained why I did it. And I just didn't want her to go or the third cycle, I should say, the first part of it.
So who'd you vote out the second cycle? You voted out.
It was Andrew. Sorry, I was getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. It's all good.
The second cycle was Andrew. He just blew up on Daniel, and he was throwing my name out there, which is what you got to do when you're in that situation. You got to throw whatever is going to stick, you're going to go with. And I knew if he would be willing to blow up on Daniel, you know, he could blow up on anybody, throw anybody under the bus, tell anybody secrets, whether they're truths or lies. So just liability to my game.
All right, so moving on to cycle 3, you find out the polls aren't up, so you kind of get a little scared, like what's going on?
That'll help me.
Did you expect a double?
Everybody was helping me by saying it was a double because I was going through the amount of people in my head. I was like, well, there's got to be at least 2 doubles. And then I didn't know if there would be a buyback or what there'd be. I mean, I wasn't a Sequester watcher in the past. Now I'm absolutely in love with it. But as soon as we started out with the LOC, I was like, it's a double. I mean, they told us that right away, and I was like, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, so we find out that Evie's trying to target Carson because Carson was apparently aligned with Andrew, or didn't really want to vote Andrew out. So is there anybody, did you agree with Evie to vote out Carson, or did you vote somebody else out other than him?
So when I talked to my alliance, they were saying Lana. And then I went into a room with, I think, like Jesse, Alora, Evie. Bad memory, but that room. And I was trying to build rapport and vote with as many people as I could at the beginning, just so they could say, hey, he built trust with me. Like, we voted together that week. And that would just be the one thing that resonated with them. So I did flip on my alliance at that point. I did vote with them to vote him out. Like I said before, just because I had a relationship with Lana. I think Carson and I spoke maybe 5 minutes both days. I just didn't know where his head was at. So that was kind of the reasoning for that.
So you voted Carson out the first time and then Lana out the second time?
Yeah, so the second time, that core group that voted her the first time, which was my alliance, basically just came over and they were like, well, we already know who it's going to be. And it wasn't worth the social capital in the game to try to save her again. I thought maybe someone might blow up after that first eviction, and then that would keep her safe one more week, and then maybe we could get her into the alliance. But It just happened to be the way that it was, and it was,
it sucks.
sorry, girl.
So moving on to cycle 4, Jesse's the target.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain that, how Jesse became such a big target? Because apparently it was all about this blog that everyone was talking about.
Yeah, so the blog was a big influence. So I actually went into a room with Jesse at the very beginning of the cycle. We didn't start together, but early in the cycle. And the first thing he said to me was, listen, there's 2 pairs in the house. You and Drew, me and Laura. We got to team up. And then I was like, okay. And then he just basically left like pretty quick after that. And then I went into a room with Drew, and I was like, well, Drew and I, for as much as you can trust somebody in this game, you can tell them pretty much what everybody's saying. And I said, this is what Jesse told me, but I've heard that he's throwing our names out. So we just said, well, Jesse's got to go, and I'm sure other people had influence on that as well. That was when Drew actually told me that he had the power to shout things throughout the anonymously, and he just kept dogging on Jesse and getting more and more and more. There was a few things that we discussed, if you go back and watch it, that he didn't say, some things that he did say, and I think I was, I helped him with that a lot. So it was a give-take relationship. I definitely both think we helped each other get far in the game. So
yeah, so Jesse gets eliminated. Poor Jesse. Then we're on to cycle 5, where it comes down to Daniel versus Alora.
Yes.
So talk about that.
Yeah, that's definitely my biggest regret in the game. So I knew that Jesse had tried to form a girls' alliance the previous night, and they were obviously a tight duo, and paranoia kind of got to me, and I was thinking, well, maybe she was the head of that, and she's the one person that can pull all the girls in. So that kind of sketched me out. And then I was thinking, well, if we accept her into our 5-person alliance of Drew, Miranda, Annette, and I, that's 5, but that's also 3 girls and 2 guys. So those 3 girls might have been easily able to team up and come against me. Now, like, when I look back, it's probably not the right decision, but it worked out for me, so no regret.
So Laura gets eliminated, and then we go on to the best cycle, which is one of my favorites, cycle 6, where Daniel's the topic of discussion. So definitely talk to us about that, because you were shocked when you found out that Drew was the one.
Daniel,
discuss that.
Hell of a move by Annette as well as Daniel.
Yeah.
So in all honesty, I don't think he really had another game plan. I mean, the rooms were unlimited, I believe. Mm-hmm. So we were all just sticking in one room, and he hopped in it. He just couldn't play the nice guy there, which I was fine with, because I thought that put a bigger target on his back. And eventually the mistake was people just split up. Drew and I ended up in a room in the last 5 minutes. And ironically, we were talking about the next week. We didn't even talk about the people in the other room. We were just like, so who are we going to get out tomorrow? What's going to happen? But at the same token, I mean, that's kind of why I wanted to get with Drew in the first place. So if something happened like that, it's not me that's going. I think
let's talk about that, because we know that Annette has this power to cancel any votes towards one person. So she can only use this once. She can't use it for the next cycle. So clearly she has this power. She'll use it to save Daniel or anyone else. So do you think Annette using it to save Daniel versus Drew was a good move?
Well, I mean, Annette, Miranda, and I kind of had we kind of thought about, well, we can't take Drew to the end, so taking 5 or 4. So I was surprised that she used it 100%. I'm not going to say I wasn't, but I thought we were planning on taking Drew out the next week anyway. That might have got her into hotter water than she needed to be at that point, but it was a heck of a move. I stayed up. I got about an hour's sleep that night. I didn't know what to do after that. I thought, listen, I have to get with Miranda, who's my girl. Got to get Annette back into this. That was my option at that point. So
I'll tell you one thing, from a viewer's perspective, we were all jumping up in their chairs, being like, is she going to do it? Is she going to do it? Is she going to do it? And then when she did, I think our reactions were even more surprising than yours, because that was fucking crazy. I didn't even expect that. I thought Dan was going for sure.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
So after Drew leaves from getting blindsided, we're on to our second double eviction. There's 5 people left. Everyone's the LOC, so it's down between you, Miranda, Annette, and Daniel for the votes. So talk about that.
Well, if you go back to the night before, the night before, I know people don't like to throw competitions. It was kind of built into my strategy. It worked out for me. I don't think it works out for everybody, but we had that card competition.
You were barely like a sphere.
Holding cards, and I just kept thinking, someone please win this. It's been 45 minutes. And luckily, Miranda won it, which actually ended up putting a target on her back more than it did mine. So when we got to the next night, I immediately jumped in a room with Miranda, and I was like, listen, we have to stick together, because the only thing that I didn't want to happen is Miranda to jump with those three, and then it'd be 4-on-1. I thought at least if I could get one person to back me, then we're both targets, and I'm not the only target, if that makes any sense at all.
No, that does make sense. Absolutely. I just keep thinking about like the LLC before that, when you were like, you were throwing that, correct?
Yeah.
I was like, what is he doing? That's not even what the picture looks like. He's making like a whole
They didn't tell me to stop.
fortress.
They told somebody else that was folding cards to stop. They were probably just like, this dumbass, just let him keep going.
It's so funny though. But so Miranda, so the votes I'm assuming were 3-2.
Yep, it was 3-2. I couldn't go. I mean, I couldn't go against her. I just thought it's either going to be them or what was it, Daniel or Miranda, and I was basically making a net make that decision right there. So if anything in the net, if we went on to the next day, that was a net's decision, not my decision. If she happened to stick with us, so
Yeah. All right. So moving on, Miranda's out. You're on final four, which is good. That's between you, Evie, Annette, and Daniel. And this this gets pretty intense for your gameplay, because Evie wins LOC, and the votes are tied. Like, did you think the votes were going to be tied, or did you think that Annette was leaving for sure?
I thought Annette was leaving, but Annette's a smart girl, and she can talk. A big misconception is people say I didn't lie in this game. I lied a lot in this game. I just either came off as like, sorry I did that, like please trust me again, or I just straight up lied, and then people liked me so much they just didn't care.
Yeah.
You know, so I've said this before, but on the date night, I was in a room with Evie, and we were talking about, you know, what rooms had we been in, and she said that she was in a room with Drew, Jesse, and Daniel, and I was in a room with, 3 other people. And then she said, well, someone said Jesse, Drew, and you were coming after me. So I said, well, Daniel said it. And she said, no, he didn't. And I'm like,
and
well,
she even said too, she even told you, like, I know that you and Drew are together. I want in.
Yeah, she did say that. So obviously Daniel had said it. And I gave Daniel the benefit of the doubt. You know, I didn't know Evie too well at that point. So I went to him and I said, listen, this is what happened. And he's like, I didn't say nothing. I swear on my family. And I was like, okay. It's smart to keep secrets in this game. So I think that literal one secret is what changed her mind to keep me at the end. Because when we had our one-on-ones, I said, listen, I have never lied to you in this game. You know that secret was huge. That could have broken up you and Daniel. I did not say anything. You have to trust me. I haven't won comps. Just please take me to the end. No one's going to vote for me. And the crazy part is when we were in a room, Annette literally looks at them and tells them my exact jury speech to their faces. Like, this is what he's going to say. This is what he's going to do. Not taking him to the end. And I was just like, no, there's no way. You're not right. Well, you know, I just good. And I just had to throw under the bus because it was me or her.
Yeah, when you're on that big screen, just like in night one.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, reverse the night, when it was Miranda, Annette, and I in a room, I was the one that said, they are a target. They are a pair. We need to get them out. Or I guess it's the same night. And then later that night, I just had to say that was all Annette's idea. That's what she said. And that's when Annette blew up on me. But I think Evie trusted me enough to not believe her. So
yeah. So Annette gets out of the game, and then you're on final 3, which is good.
Yes.
So you definitely blindsided the voyeurs, because we had no idea that you were this big mastermind when it came down to being really good with competitions. So you're the first one to finish. How long was it? An hour and a half?
An hour and 16 minutes. If it was
hour and 16 minutes. So we were like, what the fuck? How did he do that so fast?
241. So I actually got really, really nervous. Like, if you couldn't tell by my card castle. I mean, so I just figured every competition would be the next step up of what it was before. So I practiced 6-story card castle. I could do a 9x9 slide puzzle pretty easily. I could do an 8 Tower of Hanoi pretty quickly. I had a couple troubles with it, but it was, once I got the rhythm of it, it was pretty easy. Obviously, the Oreos, when they tell you need Oreos and a deck of cards at the beginning of the day, you know those challenges are coming. So I don't know how you just don't.
Did you expect the puzzle?
I'd expected a puzzle, but I did not expect a puzzle of one color.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to give me a puzzle where I could easily find the edges. When I started the puzzle, I basically just started taking pieces to the top of the screen and seeing which were exactly flush with the top of my screen, just to get a border going. And then from there, I just kind of went around in a circle. And I mean, that puzzle, it took me 46 minutes to do, so it's not like it was by any means easy. And
did they say how many pieces it was?
It was 49, I believe.
Oh, that's it? 49 pieces?
Maybe it was more. But I was legitimately under the impression when I was on the puzzle, I was like, they're already done. I was like, this is stupid. Just hurry up and finish it so I don't look, look super bad. And then when I got done and they said I was a winner, I was crazy excited.
You were like, can I go to other rooms? Can I go to the other?
And I went to the other rooms and I was like, oh, they're not even close. That's pretty cool. and my goal, I mean, it wasn't my goal, but I just wanted to be able to say my strategy at the final 2, because I did have a strategy going into the game. It wasn't like I was just, trying to float anybody but me. I got people out when my names came out of their mouth, like Andrew and like Jesse. I was able to have a couple meat shields behind me. I was able to lie without people knowing in order to get to the end. When I had to lie, I was good at it. So, I mean, I had a strategy coming into the game, and I pushed it all the way to the end.
Yeah, you definitely surprised a lot of us, for sure. So let's talk about the final 2, because this is the big moment where you get all your votes.
Yeah.
Whose jury question were you most surprised about?
I was honestly most surprised by Annette's, because I thought she was going to be harsher on me. That's why when I first came out, I wanted to make it a point to say, like, I lied. Like, if I would have come out and said I didn't lie ever, she would read me right away. She would have, killed me. I came out saying, listen, I played the game that I played. I'm leaving everything on the table. I did what I did. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not going to BS you now. I'm not going to lie now. And I think they really respected that, so.
So the votes end up being 7-3. You win the game. That's awesome. Were you surprised about anyone who voted for you? Anyone who didn't vote for you? Were you surprised that was 7-3?
I didn't know about Callie because I had never met her. I had never had one conversation with her in the house. I think she appreciated the way that I played. I thought I had Jesse's just from the conversations that we had, which was fine, but that was a flip. And then I think I talked my way into the win as well. I had planned answers to a lot of things. I had, pages. I had about 6 to 7 pages of notes just going on of what I did. What really frustrated me though, so I was like, okay, well, I was texting Sequester bot. I need about 10 minutes for my opening speech. Like, can I get it? And they go, you can have 5. And I was like, I can do it in 5. And then about 30 minutes before, they're like, no, you have 2 minutes. You can only have 2 minutes.
Oh my God.
So I was like, okay. So I cut half of it off. I said it in like 1 minute and 50 seconds. And then when Daniel was giving his, and his was like 4, 5, 6, it kept going. And I was like, what is up with this? What just happened? I need to do a game. I don't even remember what the question was, but that was the thing that kind of put me on tilt a little bit in that finale.
All right. So if they bring you back for Sequester All-Stars, would you do it?
In an instant, I'd obviously have to have a different strategy. There's no way I'm flying under the radar, but I would definitely do it in a heartbeat.
And you would definitely do Big Brother, obviously, too, right?
Yeah, I would do that as well. I would also vote for Daniel to be on Big Brother. I think he'd be great. I just want to say that, Daniel played an amazing game.
Yeah.
We played definitely different games. They both got us to the end. One big thing that I did as well was I wanted but the last time I talked to every single person, I wanted it to be positive. So my girl Laura, she's one of my best friends now outside of the game, as well as, you know, Miranda, Annette, Drew.
Yeah.
And the last thing I said to her was like, all right, we can do this. Let's save you. And then I got out of the room. Well, I knew she was going home. So the rest of the night I was just like, let's play the avoid her game. So I don't have to lie to her or, you know, that sort of thing. I tried to do that as much as possible toward the end. After I knew, not toward the end, but like toward the end of nights when I knew who was going home. I don't call it a coward move. I just call it smart gameplay, because they have to have a final good impression of you. Otherwise, you're not going to get their vote. They want to vote for someone that they think can represent the season well. And I think I can represent Sequester well, as the cast of season 3. So.
Yeah. Well, you did a really good job keeping it low on the radar, winning the competitions when you needed to at the last second. So that was really good. Is there what was the best moment you had on Sequester? What would you say?
The best moment I had, I mean, it has to be the blind side. It was the one thing that I was 100% blindsided on. Like, I knew there was a chance of Miranda going home when she went home. And same with it. I mean, everybody else, probably pretty much, my vote was going towards them. But when he went home, I was completely blindsided. I'm not going to play it off, like I said earlier, like I wasn't. It was just crazy. And then I did love Daniel's interview was great. I do want to say that I was not scared of the Voyeurs. I think it was a good strategy. Keep their name out your mouth. It's going to keep my name out of everybody else's mouth. So I personally think it was a good strategy. I don't care what anybody else thinks. So.
Yeah, I thought it was a good strategy. Like, he's laying low. He's trying to convince the Voyeurs that he's a low-key player. I was convinced by that. So you did a really good job doing that. Okay, so moving forward, what advice would you give anyone that wants to get on Sequester 4.0? What you got?
Getting on Sequester, just be yourself. Open up. That's all they want. They just want real people. They can tell if you're fake. I guarantee it. If you're not with them. And being yourself, you can still be nervous. I'm not used to being in front of the camera. There was a lot of TV and radio, you know, personalities or whatnot on our season. That's not me. I was never comfortable in the camera. I guarantee I was a nervous wreck when they were interviewing me. I just think they appreciated what I had to say. So.
All right.
Know what you're gonna say when you enter rooms with people. Know what you're gonna say.
Yes, that's key for sure.
And then I heard you ask one more question, if they could change anything about the season moving forward. You asked that.
Yes, that's a good question.
I would say I would like the punishments or the rewards to be given out to only one person. Like, not all of them to one person, but like...
Yeah, I'll tell you that much. I got 3 punishments on my season.
Yeah, so if Jesse got the most amount of votes for this punishment, then he's not eligible for the next. And then so far and so forth, because it just keeps... I guarantee it was probably one voyeur out there with a computer program spamming Jesse to be screwed. And then after that, he just had no chance. Because you can't
I felt so bad. I was like, no, Jesse's going to get the same shit I got last season.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
But it's not my game. I appreciate the opportunity to play it.
Yeah, it was fun getting to watch.
Wish I had a trophy.
Where's your trophy? Where's the...
I'm going to go make one.
All right. So, Casey, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Craft1989. You can find me on Snapchat at Casey Crafton, CASEY-CRAFTON. Some of those might be switched up. I'm not sure at this point. But yeah, just look for me on those, and then Facebook is obviously just my name, Casey Crafton.
Yep. Everything's going to be on the link below. Anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
That is it. My favorite part of Sequester, as cliche as this sounds, is the friends that I made. I love being a part of the Sequester family. I promise all of you that I will represent Sequester well. I promise my cast I will represent our cast well. My girls and my guys out there, you guys know who you are. Hopefully we can be on All Stars together and see what happens.
All right, maybe. Well, that wraps up Casey Crafton's interview, guys. Until next time, guys.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
Yep.
Appreciate it. not least, I wanted to give a huge shout out to my family, Mike, Cindy, my parents, my siblings, Matt, Kelly, Mike, all my friends in the Regulars Draft League, and last but not least, my girlfriend. You're my rock. You got me through this whole thing. Don't know how I would have done this without you. Thanks again, and I hope to see you guys soon.